Washed Up Media all fucking day. Summer Slaughter Tour 2013, is it? We're in New York City, and we have a very special guest today. We have Javier from Animals as Leaders. What's up? My first question to everybody that we introduce, how's life going for you so far?
Life is fantastic. Swell.
Swell. Good answer. Most people have this long, elaborate thing, and that's all you need to do. Now, Summer Slaughter, how is it this year?
It's fucking slaughter-tific. It's cool. There's a lot of fucking shows that we got to do. Fucking crowds have been awesome. Some of them have been kind of shot. The cities need to learn, but New York, I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. It's always awesome here. Silver Spring, DC area was kind of awesome. That's my hometown area, and it was a good time. Yeah.
Cool. Now, you guys are, I guess, co-headliner would be what you guys are called? No, Norma Jean is the co-headliner. So you guys are right in that headline block, right towards the end of the night.
We're direct support.
Right.
So it's Norma Jean, Periphery, then us, then Dillinger. It's cool, at least for us. You know, the first time we did Summer Slaughter, we were second. This time we're direct support, so second to last. So I guess it's a good step up in life. You know? Oh yeah, can't complain.
Well deserved. Now, as far as material that you guys are playing on this, you got a recent album that just came out. Now, I've heard that Misha and Tosin did some stuff together as far as the Guitar World magazine. But is there anything that we haven't heard that you guys might, I don't know, give us a glimpse of, something along those lines?
Today, no, not one bit. I think the album you're talking about is the pre-production stuff that Tosin and Misha are doing. That's for the new album that we're working on, which is not complete. It's all just pre-production stuff, so hopefully we get to do more stuff. Well, we definitely get to do more stuff after this tour, but we won't be playing any of that on this tour.
Cool. But how's working on that, though? How's the new album going in its infant form so far?
It's cool. You know, there's you know, obviously the songs that Tosin did with Misha. There's also songs that we did with Diego from Volumes. So, you know, we wanted to just kind of experiment, go outside of it. And again, the stuff that we did with Misha isn't necessarily the final product. You know, this time around, Misha helped write some of the songs, but isn't the final producer of the song. So it's going to be different than both the first album and Weightless. And again, we're working with multiple producers and just trying to do more, you know, than what's already been there.
Cool, excellent. Now, you yourself just came out with a solo record. I believe it's 5 tracks long.
Yeah.
Now, it's a little different than people who are listening for Animals as Leaders would expect. It still has those homages that it pays. You know, if no one would be shocked if they found out you were doing it and they didn't know, but it is very, very different. What brought that out? Why did you go for the sound you went for?
You know, originally I'm Hispanic. I love writing Latin music, and I've studied Latin American folkloric guitar. So a lot of the style that I grew up playing has to do with Latin music, and I wanted to incorporate that into a prog type thing. You know, I also grew up here. You know, every now and then listening to Latin rock bands, and half the time I felt like they were just like 10 years behind. That's why like most American listeners never picked up on it, just because it literally sounded from like 10 years ago. I wanted to do something that was new, that had Latin influence, that was still prog, and that would still, you know, guitar nerdy. You know, there's certain parts where it's not really, there are certain parts that it is, you know. But overall, I just kind of wanted to write something that was definitely more me, you know.
Now, on the solo record, you feature extra instruments you wouldn't hear outside. You know, normally in metal, you got some horns in there. You got some really cool stuff. You ever see that stuff making its way to Animals as Leaders?
No.
Yeah?
No. I think with Animals as Leaders, we want to keep the electronic element of it. I think that's what sounds more, you know, ahead of the game, if you will. Or that's the extra, you know, flavor, if you will, that we add to metal that really accentuates, you know, along with other things. But I think the electronic side is what we keep towards that. With Mestis, I wanted to do more organic. That's why I had real percussion, real trombone. Yeah, I wanted it to have like a more organic feel, make it seem like a band, not just like robot playing, you know, 8-string guitars, which is what sometimes Animals as Leaders can sound like.
Now, I notice, being that you also have another project, TRAM, I notice, do you get a lot of that influence, does that go into the final product of that also? Because I could hear there are similarities between Animals as Leaders, your solo stuff, and TRAM all together as one. Do you find your stuff making it more towards TRAM's ideas? How are you with writing that stuff?
You know, I think for me personally, I think I'm closer between the TRAM and Mestis side than I am the Animals. You know, I'm a fan of metal, and I grew up listening to metal, but at the same time, I think for the majority of my adult life, I've been listening to other styles of music as well as metal, and I think, you know, the byproduct has been me just writing music that isn't necessarily genre specific. It's rock influence, it's metal influence, but it's definitely like, you know, has characteristics of multiple genres that you know, some of them are very obvious, some of them are not so obvious. So, you know, I think TRAM, you can see those, you know, TRAM and Mestis, you can see those influences a little bit more than you can in Animals. Animals comes off a little bit more metal, you know,
right?
You know, derived from metal. So.
Right. Now, as far as you guys being on the bill that you're on, you are completely different in a lot of ways from the rest of the band. You know, you could always hear periphery comparisons and this and that, but you guys have that whole instrumental right from the get-go. Do you ever feel out of place? Do you feel really comfortable knowing that you're the instrumental forefront of the entire tour? Like, how's the crowd response factor into that too?
I think in any tour that we've done so far, we've been pretty we stand out a good amount. You know, the instrumental side automatically just gives us this like, all right, these guys are different. Yeah. You know, it's worked for us. You know, because we get to stand out regardless of the tour. So I think it's great. You know, I'm stoked. When we first started, we didn't know if it was going to be a good thing or a bad thing, and truthfully, over the years, it's just been probably the best thing that could have happened for us.
Right.
So.
Now, instrumental artists, it's on the rise nowadays. You know, you see more and more instrumental projects than almost ever at this point, as far as metal is concerned, right. And you know, the genre, so to speak. Is it cool to know that a lot of these guys are looking at you guys as the real legends of the whole thing, or rather living current modern legends?
It's cool. I think it's really cool. I think it's amazing. You know, it's a dream come true. I hope they just do it right. Like, they just come out with some more original stuff. You know, not another Animals as Leaders, but another, you know, right. Some other cool thing that we can tour with, and not feel like, hey, it's just a copy of what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that can go for any band, but yeah, at least for anyone that we influence, go ahead and try to write some, you know, learn from what we got, but then there's plenty of other people that can teach us some stuff, and then go ahead and mix that up together.
Right. Now, the whole recently, Ibanez has given you guys so much attention. Tosin's got his own signature guitar now, but I noticed you're sporting a pretty beautiful guitar on stage nowadays. Tell us about it. You know, woods, stuff like that.
Okay. It's a custom RG. That's actually kind of a weird hybrid RGA and an RG. I had an RGA. Some of the earlier pictures, if anybody's ever seen, just a stock RGA, and it broke on between the Bury Me tour. I like the neck a lot, so I had Ibanez just keep the neck of that guitar and build me a new body, so that's what you see now. You're talking about the orange, right. Flame maple top. So the guitar is basically the RGA stock neck with the flame maple, quilted maple veneer, and it's a RG body with an ash body and quilted maple top with a sunburst on it, the orange sunburst on it.
Now, what made you take a step away from the typical basswoods or mahoganies that everybody else is using nowadays?
You know, we were a lot of times with experimenting with the 8th string. We wanted a lot of basses use ash, and since we were working a lot with that lower register, I wanted to do something that was like closer to that, or you know, a variation of that. You know, kind of make it a unique thing too, and so that's why. I've kind of stuck with that. You know, my first custom was an ash. And I like the warmth that comes with it, as opposed to kind of the more mid-focused, you know, tone that you get from basswood. So it's kind of my preference for ash. And then quilted maple, I think it's beautiful. You know? Yeah. And I wanted to have, you know, kind of a classic-looking guitar that just is like kind of timeless, doesn't speak of an era, doesn't speak of a genre. It's just kind of when you look at it, it's kind of a beautiful guitar on its own. So that's what I wanted to come up with.
Always good to see people stray away from the typical black Ibanez, you know, no strings attached, you know.
My first Ibanez was black, so I'm not mad at it.
Mine too.
Right. So you know, but yeah, I feel you. You know, it helps to create a little bit of individuality.
Yeah. Now you guys definitely, even within the band, you and Tosin have your own identities through your instruments. Do you guys ever find yourself, or rather, you know, now that it's post-product, did you find yourself kind of molding your guitar to your identity, but also coexisting with the other guitar?
Absolutely, absolutely. Tosin and I have known each other for years. You know, he started playing 7 strings because I had 7 strings. I was like, "Yo, check this shit out," you know. And he would do crazy tapping and crazy sweeping stuff. He's like, and I'm like, "All right," and I'd be doing classical stuff and showing him stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I think over the years, both of us have learned a lot from each other, and you know, grown from it, and just both become the players that we have.
Awesome, awesome. Now, do you guys find yourself writing on the road at all?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know, not like full songs, but like riffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, dude, I mean, it's almost impossible to, you know, be bombarded by all sorts of bands playing all the time that all of them are really good at what they do, so there's something that you can take from each one, you know. Especially when we toured with bands like Sugar, Thrice, BT Bam, there's a certain element that, you know, to me is very like captivating. I really, you know, observe and try to grow from it.
Right. Now, you guys got anything good coming up after Summer Slaughter?
We're just finishing an album, the new album.
Always good news. Always
yeah,
good news.
so just that, really. We have a few things in the, you know, few months from now planned, but it's not even confirmed. It's not even confirmed, so I don't even know if I can even.
We won't even know outside of camera.
At this point, it doesn't even matter. Like by the time it comes out, you'll probably know.
Now, bit of a random one, not to play favorites, but who's sticking out to you on this tour right now?
Who's sticking out? Norma Jean.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was a huge fan when they first came out, and then I kind of like had my break from metal, so I'd stopped listening. But me and Tosin were in a band, and we got to play with them before they were Norma Jean, when they were called Ludacris.
Really?
Yeah, they were a Christian metal band called Ludacris, but Ludacris the rapper had come out at the same time. They had to change their name.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
But yeah, so it's kind of cool touring with them and being like, damn, a long time.
That's unique because, you know, no, I don't think anyone would make a direct comparison, not in any sort of negative way, but like, you know, no one's going to hear Norma Jean and go, oh, they sound like Animals as Leaders, or vice versa. So it's always good to hear, you know, that the influences, like you said, are a little outside of what you sound like as opposed to, you know, all that. But, you know, everything's been good. If you guys haven't heard, Weightless is the new record. If you haven't heard the first album, you're living in a cave, as I would like to say. Other than that, check out Solo Project. TRAM's also very good. You would be very interested in that. Eric Moore. If you guys like the Mars Volta, it's a cool combination of a bunch of stuff. But Javier, been very good.